I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. Welcome. We got a full house tonight. Great.
Page,
Here.
Walsh,
Here.
Peters,
Here.
Childers,
Here.
Wolfersberger,
Here.
Cummings,
Here.
right.
Here's. Right. Public comment is going to be a little different. Jody, you want to explain that? What we're going to do?
There'll be a public hearing for a specific zoning item that's on the agenda. That's separate from regular public comment. So if you're here to speak on that, you'll have an opportunity to that. I'll go ahead and read through the list here. Ginger and Jeff Moore will be here for the zoning. Donna, forgive me, I can't see the last name here. Is there a Donna here?
It's Buzzy.
Would you like to speak during this public comment or? No, okay. Sam is, Kathy Lyons, would you like to, is it for this one or for the, zoning? Susan has her own presentation. Katrina Olson is with the same group. Tara Swanson is for the zoning.
Yes.
Cindy, please.
Oh, she stepped out with my 4-year-old.
Okay.
But
So-
we'll be back.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Jackie Hardesty
Yep.
for the other item, and Roger, forgive me, Purcell. Is that right?
Yeah.
For this one or for the,
I'm just here to listen.
okay, and then Tiffany zoning. There was a couple folks that came in, was that I already talked? Did you want to talk during regular public comment or for the zoning question? Zoning? Okay.
So
I was the zoning as well. I didn't know that was a sign up sheet.
What's your name?
My name's Sean Allen, Allen, SHAW. Thank you.
awesome. So nobody for the initial.
We're here for zoning also.
What's your?
Amy and Dan McElroy.
All right, then we'll move on to the consent agenda. We have the regular village board meeting minutes, the executive session minutes, and approval of bills in the amount of $37,960. Are there any comments, discussion, questions about the consent agenda?
No, I'll make a motion that we approve that amendment.
Second.
Any further comments?
Walsh,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Childers,
Yes.
Wolfersberger,
Yes.
Cummings,
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
Okay, first thing up, what everybody's here for, the public hearing on a consideration of planning and zoning commission recommendation to deny an application by Moore Property Group to amend the zoning designation of a parcel located at 306 East Warren from R3 residential to C general commercial. Do we do the public comment at the outset of that?
Yes.
So just
Open the public, you're opening.
yes, I'm opening the public comment, public hearing and public comment hearing.
So. Did I hear something on my? So, the first two here is Ginger and Jeff Moore.
By the way, same rules apply, 5 minutes, correct? We use the same rules as regular 5-minute limit.
Ready?
Go ahead.
My name is Ginger Moore. I've lived in this town for over 25 years now. My family is originally from here. And we've bought property and sold property there on 4th Street. And we had bought the lot. The house was inhabitable, so we tore down trees because they were gonna be coming down on all the neighbors on the next street over. We didn't know what to do with that property. We have gotten called about putting in a drive-through coffee shop. We've been asked to put in more housing, duplexes. We've been asked to put in Section 8 housing. So my husband and I really brainstormed and thought the best thing would be possibly a drive-through coffee shop. Our intent was to open at 6, not be open late. So working moms or moms that have children, they want to get out of the house, they can come work there. We've got high schoolers that may want to go to work before school or work after or have the work program. We were just trying to give back to St. Joe. Keep our tax dollars in St. Joe. I know, have lots of friends since I've retired. They drive to Starbucks daily to get a coffee and come back because they don't like Jack Flash and they don't like Casey's. You know, they never ever say anything about Crescent, ever, but that is why we decided to try to do something on that lot to give back. The lot is in the TIF district. So when came the other night for the zoning board meeting, I have to tell you, I was very disappointed. There were 3 members that showed up. There's 2 empty seats. And 1 gentleman didn't show up. So we knew one of the gentlemen, so he abstained, which was the right thing to do. But we had 2 zoning board members to vote a no. It was very disheartening. You know, that we're trying to do something good. We're not trying to cause loud music. We are not trying to put big signs up like the people have across the street at Casey's and Jack Flash, nothing like that. We were just trying to give back to our towns we love. So that's about all I have to say.
Jeff Moore,
I'm good.
Donna, I'm sorry, I didn't write that down. Guzzi, is that right?
No, I'm just concerned about the traffic that would be caused.
Okay.
It's already considered a high traffic area. I can't get mail delivery there because it's considered a danger.
Sam Fur,
Hi, just here out of interest.
Kathy Lyons.
No problem. Thanks.
Tara Swanson.
That's me. Do you want me to come to the podium or just sit
Please.
here?
Yeah.
Okay. Just-
Yeah, just don't lean on it. I don't want you falling over.
That's okay. So I'm Tara Swanson. I live at 304 East Warren, right next to his property. If you're contemplating voting in favor of rezoning 306 East Warren to commercial, I know you don't live in my neighborhood. If Mr. Moore did, we wouldn't be here today because absolutely no one in this room wants to live, even if they support this, wants to live next to a business. He wants to rezone this property, even though this property is surrounded by housing, not because St. Joe's in desperate need of commercial zones. That's not the case. We have plenty of commercial lots to be built upon. He wants to rezone this lot because it'll allow him to sell more money or sell it for more money. That's all. He doesn't really care what actually goes there or how it would negatively impact those of us who live in my neighborhood. Like all of you, if you don't live in my neighborhood, he doesn't have to worry about cars going in and out at all hours of the day. Not knowing there's kids next door and potentially hitting one of his children. He also doesn't have to worry about one of the biggest financial investments he's ever made, which is his home's value, decreasing exponentially because again, no one wants to buy a house sitting right next to a business. He won't have artificial fluorescent lighting coming through his blinds and curtains throughout the early morning, day, and night. Weekday traffic on Warren is congested enough already, but he won't be stuck in his driveway because of increased business-related traffic while trying to get his kids to school, like I will. I've actually had several conversations with law enforcement about the lack of safety and traffic on Warren when I'm trying to get my kids to school at the crosswalk. I've been there when the crossing guard's gotten rushed. She's had to drive out of the way. I can't imagine how much worse it's gonna get if we have increased business traffic on that road. He'll still be able to open his doors and windows to other houses and backyards and friendly neighbors, not dumpsters and trash, ugly signage, a parking lot, or weird smells coming from exhaust, gas, food, trash. Last winter, I went to throw a cup away at Jack Flash and I started a little gray mouse and he ran under the trash and my first thought was, Thank God I have a street between you and me, but I will not have a street if trash cans and dumpsters to a business line the entire side of my house, and neither will my neighbors on the other side of this business. He won't be woken up to drive through orders even at 6 AM. Customers, idle cars, loud motorcycles are just general business related noise. Our older neighborhoods and older homes might be less expensive than the newer homes on the east side of town, but they're still coveted properties because a lot of families don't want to or can't afford to spend $250,000 to $400,000 on a house. Does that forfeit our right to live in peace in St. Joe? Do our homes and neighborhoods not matter because they're less expensive and on our side of town than the newer homes on the east side of town? When the safety of your children and the value of your home is at risk, I imagine this rezoning issue doesn't seem as devastating or dire, but it is for those of us who live in my neighborhood. I heard the village wants to grow and keep residents' families here, but what you're doing, or what you're considering, I'm sorry, pushes families like mine away. I'm not unreasonable. The lot is zoned as residential. Mr. Moore can sell his lot as such or build whatever residential structure he wants, and I emphasize whatever. I'm cool with apartments, duplexes, senior living, or a house. Knowing individuals or families could create a life for themselves or together here in St. Joe like we did would be a beautiful thing. However, along with disrupting our lives, putting the business in where he wants to put it is high risk, not just for me and my neighbors, but for St. Joe as a whole. A residence built there would be lived in and used indefinitely, but if a business is built there and failed, we're gonna have an unusable eyesore rotting on Warren Street. I'm all for new business and revenue in St. Joe, and I'm not picky. Whatever anyone wants to build and use, I'm fine with it. But we have plenty of commercial zones for new business to be built in upon. So please do not rezone 306 East Warren. It's unnecessary and will negatively impact my family and my neighborhoods. St. Joe shouldn't sacrifice its residents on the off chance it might earn a little bit of revenue from it, and that's a big if. And if living next to a drive-through, a car part store, a golf cart storage facility isn't something that you'd want for your family and your neighbors, I'd appreciate if you didn't force my family and my neighbors to do so. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Cindy, Tampasas.
My husband had to work tonight. He wanted to be here. I had to bring my kids because he's at work, and I think she sacrificed her place to help me, so I could speak.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
Jackie Hardesty.
Hello, my name is Jackie Hardesty. I live at 306 North 3rd Street. My backyard and Tara and Will Swanson's backyards meet. Tara and Will and their boys, my sweet neighbors, would be living next door to whatever business would end up on this parcel of land. This business would be behind my house. My house is at least 148 years old. I have a warranty deed dated 1877 from the first time I know of that it was sold. This is even before St. Joseph was founded in 1881. So my house is one of the few truly historic homes in St. Joseph. I've been privileged to live in it and take care of it for the past 37 years. I've raised my 2 sons there, and now I have grandchildren who come there. But the best thing to me about my house is that it's in our neighborhood. A neighborhood where people care about each other and look out for each other. The neighborhood feel in small towns and villages like ours is more cherished and more important now than ever. It's one of the reasons people want to move to St. Joe, but there are very few places for them to buy or rent. Last week, Mr. Moore said that the coffee shop drive-through deal fell through. His golf cart business won't work either, since golf carts aren't allowed to drive on 150. But what if he sells to another fast food business? When I envision a business with a storefront and drive-through, all I see is speakers blaring people's orders, choking exhaust fumes from idling cars, and glaring lights through the night. And suppose this business fails, what will be there next? A car wash, another gas station, a vape shop, and all of this right in the middle of homes that used to make up a neighborhood. I'm also very concerned about safety if a business is allowed to be there. The school crosswalk across 150 is at the end of that block. We have children in this neighborhood. Traffic on 150 is already extremely busy with Casey's and Jack Flash. How many children and adults walking, biking, or driving will be hit and injured or killed with all of the cars and trucks pulling in and out of 3 businesses in such a restricted space? Please don't vote to rezone this land as commercial. There are other areas already zoned commercial for new businesses. This parcel of land was intended to be residential and should remain residential, part of a neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Roger, Purcell. No. Tiffany.
In case you don't know, but my mom is at 302 Eastbourne. She's been there 55 years. They say they're part of a neighborhood. My mom is even more part of a neighborhood across the street where the village helped pay and subsidize Jack Flash, ruined her part of the neighborhood. They're complaining about what might be lights in the rooms all day and night is a reality for my mom and Tara. So maybe Tara doesn't want lights on 2 sides of her house. I beg that if you do make it commercial, you don't subsidize the business to hurt the other businesses in town, because there isn't more tax dollars. You're just taking from one business to give to another, as we found out from Jack Flash. We didn't bring more money into town. We took it from our other businesses. But the whole thing is, the people that have the older houses in town don't deserve to have their neighborhoods destroyed. We still do have a neighborhood here. My mom lived there 55 years. The property value of her house has already been so diminished by Jack Flash across the street, but she does still have a neighborhood. They can walk down the street. She can't dodge traffic when she's going across the drive-through 2 houses away. And I have was, when I was in Springfield, I lived across the parking lot from Burger King. And you hear this stuff nonstop. Oh, I want to, whatever it is they have, Whopper. You deserve peace and quiet. Your whole money, my mom's whole money is in this house. You deserve peace and quiet where you've worked your whole life. 55 years ago, she bought a neighborhood. Jim, if we didn't change the zoning, you could have apartments across from you. We try to protect our residents and where they live and their investments. Please help protect our families and their residents and their investments. This is their quality of life. They don't have money to pack up and move. They don't want to move to a different area. This is where they've chosen to put down their roots and invest their family and their lives. Please try to protect them.
Thank you.
Sean Allen.
Hi, I'm Sean. I raised my 3 sons here in St. Joe. They all went to high school here. I went to high school here. I bought and sold 3 homes in St. Joe. And I live on 401 North 3rd. I don't have written prepared statements, but I kind of know what I want to say, and that is the reality that changing zoning from commercial, from residential to commercial, in almost every instance has a negative value proposition for all of the residents around that location. That's statistics, that's proven. It doesn't really matter if you look at Chicago or St. Joe, it affects the residents who own homes there. I consider it an honor to be in a small town like St. Joe. I think it's really a unique space, and part of the reason is because a lot of farmers around the outskirts aren't selling, so you can't build homes in St. Joe. That's good and bad, and I do understand that you want to increase the tax revenue base for this community. I support that, but I would support that in a way that means using existing commercial zones as they've been created in this community and not change something that's residential and adversely impacts a lot of the homeowners that surround it currently. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amy McCoy.
So I have a couple of concerns. First of all, trying to act like we are just putting in a coffee shop to just get back to St. Joe and not line our own pockets is the biggest bunch of bullshit I've ever heard. But no,
Keep it.
Bullshit is not the Bible.
Family friendly, we have children.
Anyways. But Art is the only one who I think was on the board when Jeff Flash came. And I stood here and told you that someone is gonna die at that corner. And within 2 years, we had someone get killed at that corner.
Jack Flash was right before I got on the board, maybe.
Okay. And just,
a couple of-
you're the oldest one on, you know,
Hey, easy.
not,
No.
not old, but you've been on the board.
I
quite a while.
I just had to
But
take a shot.
I stood here and said, we've watched this. The village backhoe had gotten hit there the month before it got approved. And within 2 years, we had someone get hit and killed. A lifelong St. Joe person who brought value to our town, whose family has been one of the founding members of our town. And we are just now courting even more danger, because not only will we have people coming in and out of the gas station, then we have people coming in and out of that. If you sit on my mom's front porch, count the kids that go by. In the summer, it's easy, 40, 50 kids an hour. And they're on these little electric things they're not supposed to be riding, but they don't look at roads. They're definitely not gonna look at a coffee shop drive out. I mean, they don't stop at any of the stop signs, so they're not gonna pay attention to that. And do we really want a dead kid? I mean, St. Joe's had that happen before with a school bus hitting a kid down on the street and killing it. I mean, it's not worth the risk. And then you have vermin that come with having any sort of restaurant business. And we deserve to have a place that, I mean, my mom, BJ came over and had to go up into my mom's bedroom because he couldn't believe when we said, it is literally like it is 12 o'clock noon, shining right into that window. My mom has what, 2 or 3 sets of curtains up there, and she still has light come through. I mean,
encourage you to go and look, when you drive home tonight, look at the lights on my mom's house.
now, while it's great, because nobody's gonna come rob her because it's like got the major spotlights all over it. It's not great when you have an 80-year-old who already has problems sleeping. And, I mean, it's here, but I don't wanna see another person, I don't wanna be right again that someone else is gonna get killed. I don't. And I knew it was gonna happen because especially on Third coming north, there's no visibility, there's just none. And until you're out in the intersection. And people are gonna be paying attention to that, then you're gonna have some kids running downtown to go Subway. It's just, it's a recipe for disaster is what it is. I don't think that, there's no moms that stay-at-home moms that are gonna be able to go work in the morning, they have to get their kids off to school, so that's not really realistic either. And I just think if you have it starting at 5 or 6, 6, then you have them there by 5 starting. And even if it ends at 1, I mean, it's just the risk of something happening is just too great. And we have tons of need for housing. Make some cute little condos or, you know, like assisted living or something like that where the town really would benefit because we have seniors that want to stay in town that just can't take care of a house full time anymore. Or, you know, like all of the responsibilities. I mean, heck, my own mom might be like, see y'all, peace out, I'm gonna go a couple doors down and live, and I can stay in the neighborhood and still, but not have to repair anything ever. But I think we're courting a disaster with the traffic. And with all the little kids, it's not just the kids that live in the neighborhood, which we have quite a few of. It's all the kids riding down the Subway, riding down the BIG, going down and meeting their friends, going to play at the high school track during the day. I mean, if you just watch the traffic of the kids, it tells the story of it's just not safe. It's not a safe idea. And I don't want to be writing it. I don't want to lose somebody else. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Dan, I'm good. You're good? Okay. Did I miss anybody? Okay.
Yes.
Um,
Here from the board.
Since I have a captive audience, I want to talk about some of the conversations that this board has been having. I have been on the board for a few years, and this is something that has come out of the strategic planning that we've done for our village. And I truly believe in strategic planning and how that works. So advancing economic development is a strategic priority. I am serious about advancing our economic development goals because of the long-term health of our community, and it depends on it. We must continue to plan for future growth, especially in areas like the parcels along 150. I'm just saying, like the parcels along 150, which hold a high commercial potential. Prioritizing development that generates tax revenue will allow us to sustainably fund essential services, like stormwater improvements without burdening our general fund, which we've been doing for a very long time. Currently, we are significantly subsidizing parks and recreation without a sustainable revenue stream, without a fix, whether through identifying self-services, without identifying self-sustaining funding or fostering meaningful commercial growth. We risk limiting services across the board. Smart growth today ensures a stronger, more resilient for us tomorrow. Those are just my thoughts about things. Thank you.
Art, do you have anything on it?
Well, I was gonna interject a little history. I don't know where, how many of you here when we approved or built the bank on here in 150, were any of you? Okay. Part of the discussion then to change that, because there had been ideas bandied around about a little bit everything. But when they came with the bank, one of the things they did before they changed the zoning, and even though it was a spot zoning, the bank had a specific plan. They had it there, and there's certain criteria they had to follow, including that if the bank ceased to exist, because you don't see too many banks being built now with everything online, that it couldn't be repurposed into something else. A different thing, it could be an office, it could be, I think it was a doctor, wasn't it a doctor's office and stuff, that it could be, that there's certain criteria. Without having a specific plan on what's there, I think that, in my opinion, it falls short of requesting the zoning change. That doesn't mean it couldn't be accomplished, that if you went to the zoning board and said, okay, this is what we have in mind, and this is what we, it might be duplexes, it might be something else, but something like that. I'm just offering that as a suggestion, but I thought I'd give you a little history on that. I wasn't here when Jack flashed, but I know different things there's people breaking down the doors to build out here. I mean, there isn't anything to build, and a lot of people aren't willing to go ahead and work with anybody to go ahead to develop or build. It may come about. That's one of the reasons we created the TIP. Something, a commercial value might be viable. It might be multiple housing or something like that. Right now, and the board, when you only got two people deciding it, that's not really good, in my opinion. I would prefer, just go ahead and table it until you get a plan, until we get a board there, and you can go ahead and present it. But that's just my sentiments, and I thought I'd interject the history on the bank, for your benefit.
Do you know the bank, if part of that concern is for safety, because they don't have an entrance that's directly on 50, correct? It goes off of the side streets.
There was that, and like that Quonset Hut building was back there, there's different things, an eyesore, they're worried. Yes, there was a lot of citizens had viable concerns, and the people developing it were very receptive to all that, and they went ahead and worked with them and just, okay, you got this, we'll do that, drainage, one thing and another. And so I think everything, I mean, I don't know if everybody's warm and fuzzy, but I think most of them were. Yeah,
And not to overspeak, but there were neighborhood meetings with the people from the bank and the neighborhoods, and I mean, they really did work together very well, tried to anyway.
But that was when they knew what the business was that was coming in.
I believe so.
they knew it was going, the bank wanted to build there.
It wasn't just a change in zoning.
No, it wasn't a change in zoning where you could just go ahead and have carte blanche, you know, because it's residential and we decided that. And the same kind of thing applied, and that's why I was sharing that with them, that if they had something like that, it might be viable to start really dialogue with neighbors and all that. I mean, I appreciate the concerns on all of it, you know, but I don't think it was really right to have, I mean, we got a zoning and planning board and 2 people decide it, you know, it ought to be more of a say, but that's my 2 cents. Being the oldest one here, the senior member, the senior, we're tied.
It's a narrow lot too, so I think that also kind of limits what can go in there. So.
Yeah, there's certain criteria, like it couldn't turn into a vape shop. It couldn't turn into anything else. It had to be these specific things. And even at the 11th hour, and I'll give them credit, they went ahead and slid it in or to give, which I don't blame them. More options to go ahead if something should happen. And when you see banks the way they are, I'm really kind of surprised they built there. But nonetheless, it's like, this is what you agreed to. If you want to do it, this is what the criteria was. And it went ahead and built. But that is in there, that if it goes defunct, if they move or something, and you go ahead and decide to rent it, this is the kind of clientele you have to have it. I just thought I'd share that with
Do you have any thoughts you want to share?
I appreciate everybody coming out tonight and voicing their concerns and for or not. You know, I hear everything and I know where everybody's coming from. I've been here for quite a few years myself. I mean, I'll be open on that. I'm not for the change either. I agree with some of the comments that were made as far as other commercial lots that we have, and we do have some other commercial lots that are available. And from the beginning, you know, I've said even during the Republican caucus here, is that I agree that we do need growth. But it needs to be the right growth and strategic growth. Do I think that commercial lot is or turning that into a commercial lot? I don't know that it's that is the way that I want to go, but I'm, you know, one vote to everybody else here. So yeah, thank you.
I want to ask a question, Mark, that to overturn this zoning board, if we were going to have to be 2/3?
Yeah, technically, you're not overturning, they're making a recommendation, but the fact that they recommended against it elevates your vote, so you need a 2/3 vote, which math-wise means more than 4, so that means it's 5 votes, so you need 5 affirmative votes. Let's say you had 4 trustees who voted in support of it. The mayor could vote to add the vote to kick it over to the 5. That's one of the few times you actually get to vote.
Okay. Thank you. Matt, do you have anything you want to?
No, I can see both sides of it. Definitely the safety and security of our residents is paramount for everybody on the board, I'm sure. I think that, like Steve, just to reiterate what Steve said, St. Joe does need more growth, and I think that there are better options personally. That's just my 2 cents.
I'd love to have a drive-through coffee shop, but like they said, I don't know that that's the best place for it. What I really don't like about it is that what Art said, 2 people basically decided the yes or no on that issue. It would have been, I don't think it's my role to overturn what they did, though, what they decided. So
I agree. I mean, I like the idea of a coffee shop. I like it big westbound so that as you're, you know, heading to work, heading to town in the morning, it would be an easy in and out. But it is congested in there, where you come out of Jack Flash in the morning, or you come out of Casey's in the morning, and then you're looking at the school crossing there. It is a busy area. Safety would be a huge concern. There's not really a side street or an alley access along those houses, so.
With that thought in mind, in the traffic study, that area right through there was the highest traffic area in St. Joe on that, and it's just a little FYI. But, I got a question for Mark. Now, do we have to vote? Could we make a motion to table it? Or we have to stand by
Yeah,
their
somebody
decision?
can make a motion to vote it up, or somebody can make a motion to vote it down. You can continue the hearing to a date specific, so you can't continue it generally. But you can continue it to your next regular meeting or to whenever you wanted to.
Well, I would make a motion to table it, give them time to gather their thoughts and just give them that opportunity. If they don't care, then all the board.
Your motion will need to be to a specific date and time. So you
Okay,
might want to pull out the calendar to see when that is.
when would their next meeting be? Or
Well, I think the other thing too that needs to be brought forward is we will be adding 2 new members to the zoning committee that I think will help. That was not, I don't feel like it was their fault that they did what they did. They had to do it. We had a meeting, there were people that were there that all had to go down. And so I just think we can kind of button things up and restart. If you
I would make the point that you're not restarting this process unless you vote it down and restart it. So you're not gonna be able to send something back to the new
Right.
thing, have them have a brand new hearing. If you wanna do that, you could vote this down and then they could petition to rezone again and start the process. So
I do have a couple questions. Well,
Sure.
interrogating the attorney. That's
all right. If it gets too bad, I'll run across the street.
Bring me back up, will you? If this motion passes to, I guess it's not deferred, but to extend this hearing to the next meeting, do we go through the whole public hearing process where we have public comment?
No, you have the required public
Had
hearing.
the required public hearing, so
You
it's-
can if you want to,
Right.
but you're not legally
Right.
required to.
it could be just discussion and vote.
That's correct.
Okay, I'd like, before. Hey, can you hang on to that motion for just a minute?
yeah,
I want to say a couple things. First of all, I applaud everybody in here for coming and speaking, because this is what local government's about. I really appreciate everybody's input. And thank you trustees for your perspectives as well. And I get both sides. I believe in the authority of people to do what they want with their own property, but you also have to live in a community with your neighbors as well. So I understand both sides of this perspective. Like the others, I'm concerned that only 2 board members were able to vote. However, it's not their fault. There's 2 vacancies, and one of the first things I wanted to do on my to-do list, and Joe can confirm this, was get the zoning board completely full of folks so we don't face this in the future. And we're gonna fix that here in a couple of agenda items, probably, in fact, I think like the next agenda, coming pretty quick. Given what we've heard, I think I would go along with everybody tabling or extending this to the next meeting, absorb what we've heard here, talk to other folks, and come back and vote on this. I don't want this to go on and on and on.
I agree, yeah. I think, I don't know when the zoning meeting, but realistically, it's probably gonna be tabled to about November. I mean, we're in July.
No, it'll be your next, it'll be.
In our next meeting.
Which is August.
Yeah, we can't send it back to them at this point. This is our hearing for us to act on their recommendation.
Okay, so I just make a motion to table. and
For
then-
us to extend the hearing to the next meeting of August 12th.
August 12th.
12th. And we'll.
Well, let me make sure, I'm looking, she's got any questions. No, it's 12. Yeah, it's 12, yeah.
So is that your motion?
My motion would be, as a senior member here, go ahead and table that till August 12th. And
We'll have a vote then.
and
And
extend.
we know we have to have 5. Is everybody?
It's August 12th at 7 o'clock. So you wanna be-
So everybody's planning on being here, because that makes a big difference in what a supermajority is. We're all gonna be here. And it would take 5 board members to vote to
Approve it, just approve.
approve the application.
Should be here unless something
Oh, yeah.
unforeseen happens.
Also, I don't want to take this forever. We want to fix this, do the right thing, but I think we need to have a hearing from everybody, just think about it and come back
Okay,
and knock it out.
I made the motion, anybody want to second it?
I'll second.
Peters. Cathers,
Yes.
Wolfersburg.
Yes.
Cummings,
Yes.
Rath,
Yes,
Walsh,
Yes.
motion passed 6-0.
I hope that gives you a little background on the bank that might be helpful for you.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So they can change what they're presenting, but we can't talk again. So.
The application's the application.
But Artie said, oh, I hope this gives you some background. What is that supposed to mean?
So, they can't change, it's just gonna be its own commercial period.
Right, what the zoning board has done, the zoning board has done on the application that's been submitted, correct? Mark, is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
We can't change
I think,
that.
so Art, if they were to kind of do what the bank was gonna do, they're gonna need to put together some plans and then petition for something different than what they've asked for.
Okay, well, could they amend their petition? Or does it have to be a whole new petition?
I think that it's cheaper and quicker to start from scratch, because if there's something new that's being considered, it's gonna go back to plan.
Okay,
Can I say something real quick?
sure.
I appreciate the information about the bank, but like when you started talking about the bank, it's a completely different situation. He has a very narrow 1 acre lot. The bank is really large. The plot is a lot larger. And just like someone mentioned, I believe it was you, Ms. Shoulders. They had people coming in from the side. He had one access right off 150. So even though I appreciate the information and I understand what you're saying, it's a completely different scenario. So I guess my confusion is now we're gonna start the whole process all over again. And, well, but you're saying he can amend it.
No, he was just asking, can he, and then.
I question,
No.
but all your concerns, I mean, it's almost verbatim what they had at the bank. And the proximity to where the kids are crossing this and that, and those concerns, and it's all respected. And basically, in my opinion, one of the reasons it passed is because the neighbors were all okay, were all agreeable, because I think the board was very concerned about the kids crossing. They're concerned about golf carts and everything else. And once they went ahead and, like, all parties were okay with it, then it's kind of like there's no reason to go ahead and not approve it.
I get what you're saying. I just don't see how there'd be other options for him except off of 150. Like, it seems like a cut and dry.
And I understand that, like, it's all still 150.
Yeah.
He's referring to that as being the same with the kids and close to the crosswalk and stuff, but that section there really from, where you get into town, houses and businesses on both sides, you really do feel that in the morning rush and the evening.
Oh, absolutely. I could get aggressive. Yeah, my driveway.
My concern, like, with the board saying, like, no, just blanket, no. I don't know if, like, you can table that until there is a specific plan, like, if we were to overturn that now and say yes, then it's sort of a bring in what up? Or does the village
Yes,
still have?
so what- Yeah,
Same.
you're thinking if there's a dream business that doesn't have any negative impact on them.
Then we can say yes, but
No, you can, but what you're being asked for is to blanketly change it from residential to commercial. So by right, the owner could develop anything commercial that's allowed in the zoning without getting any permission from anyone.
Right, no, but there's no proposal.
They have to comply with the laws that apply to commercial district. But those are their
But
limitations.
there's no proposal to this board for a coffee shop. There's a proposal to change.
That's correct.
Commercial, right? And
Right.
so it is what it is. You know?
So, yeah, so at some point, if you got a proposal from somebody with a unique property that was really appealing and you wanted to prove it with a lot of controls, we would be using a different technique than what's in front of you right now.
Right. So we're motion is to table or to extend this hearing to the next meeting. We're going to take a vote and 5 trustees have to vote to overturn the recommendation of the zoning board. Is that correct? Yep.
And that meeting is not public.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Just like this meeting. It's just,
It's not public comment.
we're not gonna start over again. I think we understand where you guys are coming from very clearly.
There's public comment, there's not public here.
That is
Right, that's correct, you're right.
So there's a public comment portion of the meeting at the beginning of the meeting,
That's correct.
and that's where the public can come in and say anything they want about it.
Yes,
And so,
Talk again.
yes.
yes,
Yes. There just won't be this public hearing piece, it'll just be the public comment.
Thank you.
good job.
One last, yes, sir.
I'm Sam Kerr. I'm on the planning and zoning board. I'm one of the two people who was here. What you're doing now is not going to go back to planning and zoning board,
No,
correct?
correct.
What I hear is a lot of people saying that they have issues because it was two people who voted. Well, three of us present. Was not ideal. I get that. If those are your concerns and you would have liked more input from a complete board, I think that it would be reasonable and proper use of the bureaucratic process to do what needs to be done to send it back, which would be to accept the recommendation to deny. They could resubmit with more details, because there were details that I heard tonight we did not hear. Yeah, does that make a difference? It's still asking to zone something that is R3 between houses into something commercial. So I'm not saying that, oh, if we known that, we would have changed our mind and voted differently. But I think it would be appropriate if you value your planning and zoning board and its input to send this back to planning and zoning.
It's my understanding we can't send it back.
No, he's saying deny it. He's saying approve what they, their denial. And then for it,
Okay.
they have to refile. Way.
It's the pleasure of the board. We have a motion made. Was there a second? That's what we did, Marty. That's how.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, it's already on the next meeting. That said, you're not stuck with Robert's rules, so if you guys want to undo what you just voted on, you could. I'm not telling you to, I'm just saying you could.
I'm personally fine with vote tonight.
So are there head shaking?
I'm prepared to vote.
I told you, I motion table and get people together, time together their thoughts. I respect the board, but, and I said, if we're gonna do that, then I'll go ahead and vote to deny.
Somebody would have to make a motion to undo what just happened.
So let me get this straight. So if we vote to approve their denial, it can get kicked back to the zoning board.
Stays for three.
It stays R3 and they would have to resubmit a new proposal.
And basically, you would be coaching the applicant, saying that what they proposed currently is not gonna work. But rather come back with something with more meat on the bone, maybe a larger piece of property or more like an option to purchase agreement with a specific business or something that has more detail to it, or even considering some sort of a special use permit arrangement, which is what the bank that Trustee Rapp was referring to as, is a special use permit. So you would be basically just providing just input for the applicant on something that would be more in your view appropriate. So you would need to, if you want to, you'd have to accept the planning and zoning's recommendation to deny the application would be your first step. If that's what you want to do.
Zone board, so.
Yeah, not all the way on two people.
And I didn't want to overstep any boundaries of planning and zoning either. That was not my intention. Also.
And Mark,
Someone would be making a motion to reopen consideration of the rezoning of 306 East Warren.
So moved.
Second.
Sure,
Okay.
second.
Then a motion to,
You gotta vote on this, and then you can talk
Yes.
about what you're gonna do next.
yeah,
Okay, Childers,
we're reopening the
Yes, we're reopening.
Wolfersberger.
Yes.
Cummings,
Yes.
Brad,
No,
Walsh,
Yes.
Peters.
Yes.
Motion passed. 5-1.
Oh, so now someone, if you're wanting to deny this rezoning, which is another way of saying reaffirm the decision of the planning commission, then someone just needs to make a motion to deny the request for rezoning. That's going.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, Wolfersberger,
wait a minute. If we deny it, isn't that overriding the board or are we voting in favor?
No, you're
A motion.
voting to deny rezoning.
Okay, so we reaffirm the position. of the
That's right.
zones.
Wolfersberger,
Yes.
Cummings,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Walsh,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Childers.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
Now you're done.
another trip. I'm just kidding.
I put $100 if they're just watering.
All right. How hard is it for me to move 3 and 4 ahead of 2?
Just ask your board if they don't have an objection.
You
to
have an
it.
objection, I mean,
No.
moving forward to 2. We have 2 folks we put out on Facebook and other communication, social media in town looking for volunteers to be on the planning and zoning board because there are 2 vacancies. We had all of 2 folks apply, Javier Zenopena and Gary Garrison. You have their in your packet, you have their letters. I make the appointment and the board
Makes a motion to approve it.
So I'm making the appointment for both of those folks. Does it have to be separate motions?
No, do it all once.
I want to make the appointment for Gary Garrison and Javier Zenopena to be on the zoning plan.
I'll make the motion for both of them.
Second.
Okay, Cummings,
Yes.
Brad,
Yeah.
Walsh,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Childers,
Yes.
Wolfersberger.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
Okay. Now,
Hey,
Susan is it Monty?
yes, it is.
Yes. Go
Yeah,
ahead and
thank you.
explain what you're doing.
All right, well, I'm Susan Monty. I'm Executive Director of the nonprofit, all volunteer nonprofit, Champaign County Environmental Stewards. I'm here tonight with Katrina Olson. She's on our campaign for this project that we're gonna tell you a little bit about. And so, we were formed in 2019 to try to implement a solution to the need for a permanent collection facility for household hazardous waste in East Central Illinois. So we can, proceed. All right, so hundreds of products are purchased by consumers, and some of you may have heard of an iteration of this presentation last November, but there's a couple of new people, so
Sorry to interrupt you, but I just now saw that you sent me that update on there, so.
that's fine, we will experience a typo.
It'll be a test. We'll see if you can.
If who can find the typo? So, yeah. And also the slides are slightly misordered, but I can deal with that. I want to make sure you realize that our mission of this nonprofit goes beyond household hazardous waste. We're also concerned about waste management for residential residences to have better options to be able to recycle, to do food scrap composting, to reduce plastic, single-use plastic, all that kind of stuff. So, but this request tonight is about the household hazardous waste collection facility. And just wanted to make sure everybody here was aware of household hazardous waste, what it is. It's toxic. It can catch fire. It can explode under certain circumstances. It's corrosive. Almost everyone has these types of leftover household products in their homes. And they have the same qualities and characteristics as highly regulated hazardous waste from commercial and industry. And the US EPA estimates that households can acquire typically 20 pounds of this stuff every year. And it's not uncommon for houses to store 100 pounds or more of this hazardous waste in their homes, garages, basements, until there's an opportunity to have a collection of it. So if stored, it can pose serious health and environmental risks, such as those listed here: accidental poisonings, other medical problems due to exposure of children's pets, damage to residential septic systems. They can result in house fires. They can expose firefighters and other first responders to hazardous chemicals and highly toxic smoke, and contaminate our soil, groundwater, lakes, and streams. Next slide. Actually, 2 slides. So, the Mahomet Aquifer Task Force in 2018 identified inadequate or improper household hazardous waste management as a threat, a potential contamination threat to the quality of our Mahomet Aquifer. We all know how important a resource that is. Next slide. So the very first IEPA sponsored one-day household hazardous waste collection took place in 1990. And then for the next 20 years, there were sporadic one-day collections. The longest period of time between collections was 7 years in 2019. It was like a wait for 7 years, and it was a massive demand. And that collection was like totally 3-mile long lines, lots of waiting, and the contractor showed up unprepared for the huge crush of people. So after that, the Illinois EPA decided, yes, we need to provide a regular schedule, at least one collection per year for places like Champaign County, and maybe about 5 or 6 other around the state. So now each year we have a one-day collection. So the annual one-day collections, and some of you may have been to one of these, they're set up in a parking lot. They're limited in scope and capacity. At best, they can serve approximately 1% of the service area population. And it's just not sufficient to, I mean, if you're on vacation or if you're moving, you need to get rid of this household hazardous waste, you have to wait another year, or you have to find some way to dispose of it.
And it doesn't nearly meet the demand of that one day.
Right.
does it? Yeah.
So the best idea is to have a permanent household hazardous waste collection facility that will allow a greater percentage of area households to be served each year. So next slide. So we're here in East Central Illinois. There's 5 facilities in the state, permanent facilities. The closest one is 2.5 to 3 hours away. Not convenient. So next slide. In 2021, our nonprofit commissioned a feasibility study for a household hazardous waste collection facility in the CU area. The following year, we applied for and received American Rescue Plan Act funds from Champaign County, from the city of Urbana, and then in 2023 received a large contribution from the city of Champaign. And then we were able to purchase a vacant 4.8 acre parcel at 901 Saline in Urbana. Now, this is just over on Lincoln Avenue, about a mile north of I-74, so it's very well located. The other businesses in this next to us is a waste transfer station. The business across the street is a construction and demolition debris station. So it's like a waste management subdivision. It's perfect for this type of facility. It's centrally located. So we're very happy to have this piece of property. We initially looked for retrofitting, and that proved very difficult and very expensive and not a good idea. So we then launched our capital campaign, and we are continuing that campaign until we raise another the amount necessary to build this facility. So next slide. So we have been working with an architect. We have a site layout, we have a building, plan. The whole building is 5,800 square feet, non-combustible steel construction. It's got all kinds of spaces with safety features. It's designed specifically to be a household hazardous waste collection facility. Also, it's designed to take over for electronics collections that occur twice a year in a parking lot presently. It's also going to be able to accommodate battery collection and paint collection. These are new things that just got approved in the Illinois State Legislature, or whatever the word is, General Assembly. The Illinois General Assembly, in the last 2 years, they approved a paint collection program. And not only residents, but businesses can drop off any paint here once this is constructed. Batteries too, same deal, and these are extended producer responsibility types of laws that require the manufacturers of these items to be responsible for their end of life disposition and not local governments. So it's a great new system, and now in 2025, a household hazardous waste extended producer responsibility law has been introduced. And it's just incredible, and I'm thrilled that it's been introduced. It's the fine points of it are being negotiated. It didn't pass yet, and we expect that it may take a year, possibly 2, to get this through the legislation.
And that's for which kind of?
Household hazardous waste.
Okay.
So manufacturers, and this is very much more complicated than just paint or batteries, because there's many different products.
Yeah.
And there's only one state that has successfully passed this, Vermont. California is in the process of passing it, and it just really takes the burden off local governments to operate these kind of facilities. So where did I leave off? Let's continue on and just take a look at some of the costs. So total capital costs are listed here. We estimate that $2,850,000 is the cost of this project, and that probably will need to go up by about 10 to 20% since this estimate was developed, just based on various factors. Maybe not, but we're good. We have a good estimate there that does need to be updated in the process of getting that. So we've raised nearly 60% of the capital costs, and we have another 1.1 million or so to raise. Next slide. So operating costs. We're not here tonight to ask for any support for operating costs because of the pending legislation, which could really positively impact this whole scene. For example, here I estimate that the annual operating costs could be anywhere between 200,000 to 238,000. With this new law that we're trying to get passed, that amount could be reduced by 75%. So it would be like a quarter of that amount that we would be responsible for, 50,000. And that would be divided up among all kinds of entities, local governments, and Urbana-Champaign Sanitary District, other public agencies that want to contribute to the operating of this facility. But tonight, we're not asking about this. So this is just provided for your information in case the law doesn't pass and we have capital funds to proceed. Our annual operating costs would be 200,000, and we're prepared to try to raise that amount of funding. We've already started obtaining commitments. If this had to go through under this scenario, the most we would ever ask, it would not be any kind of obligation. It would be a fair share kind of cost request to the Village of St. Joe would be approximately $3,000 per year. So that's not going to happen for sure or at all if this other law passes. Let's continue. So this is just a wrap-up slide to reiterate that this is an important facility and it merits the support of each local government just because it's the right thing to do. Convenient year-round access for residents. And it's just the way to go. The setting up in a parking lot just doesn't cut it, especially if you're not in town to clean the facility. I mean, the parking lot that one day. Prevent accidental poisonings, injuries, mitigate potential contamination of precious water resources, and decrease the risk of house fires and improve the safety to our emergency service workers. All these are very good reasons. So I think there's one more slide. our request to you tonight is to, well, I first want to say thank you for, letting us speak here to you tonight, and our request that we had previously made to this board or just discussed with the village manager, I can't remember if we actually made the request, was for an amount such as $20,000 split over 2 years. Our pledge, our capital campaign allows for the splitting of any kind of contribution over 2 or 3 years. So that might be something for you to consider. It can be any amount you're comfortable with supporting this project with. But our suggestion is $20,000. We've been to other villages, and that's in line with what we're asking the other villages. So far, we've received commitments from Tolono, Savoy, we're in the process of working with Savoy. We received commitments from Mohammed. We're working with Grand Tool. And we intend to go to all the villages in Champaign County and adjacent nearby villages in adjacent counties.
We have Muhammad Tool and we're working with Savoy Ranch.
Right.
So we're really expecting a commitment from every village, township that is dependent upon the Muhammad Aquifer for clean water, because we all have a stake in this. You know, we all want our water to be pure and as pure as it can be and not contaminated. And that's, there are lots of other benefits. I don't know if you caught those, but you know, if you're a firefighter, I don't know if we have any firefighters in there, but if you're going into a garage or something or a house fire, you don't know about what could be sitting on their shelves. And if I'm storing a bunch of like old gasoline and go back to that list, what slide had the list on it? It was earlier in the presentation. We added a list because everybody's like, well, what is exactly household hazardous waste? And I just cleaned out my garage. There it is. It's the one with the stuff on the side. I had a lot of these things in my garage. I just cleaned out my garage. I'm like, oh, heck, you know, because we all have this stuff sitting around. And if there's a fire in your garage, your house, these things are going to blow. Or they're gonna emit fumes. And so any firefighter, first responder, ER, or EMT who's going in there to help people is at risk of those things just blowing or the fumes that come off of those. You know, and I have, my kids are older now, so I don't expect them to be drinking any of those things, but you know, I have dogs and cats and animals that I don't want them getting into that stuff. And I guess antifreeze tastes really good. I don't know, kids get into it, but you know, everybody, almost everyone, grandchildren are at risk of these things. So that affects everyone. I live in the country. I'm border like Sydney and Urbana. And what was I gonna say? Oh, there's something more of those. Oh, I'm on a septic system. So, you know, and I have to admit, I don't know what to do with that stuff. I'm not gonna drive 2.5 hours and I always miss the collection bit, or I sign up too late and it fills up and I can't go. I'm like, what are we supposed to do with this antifreeze or this old oil or this old whatever? And I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I don't always do the right thing because I'm like, I don't know what to do with it. You know, we live in the country, so you're like, ground, you know, and or you pour it down your sewer, which is not right and probably, I don't know if it's illegal, but it's not a good idea. And that goes into your groundwater and that eventually makes its way to the aquifer, you know, it's like little fish that Nemo paths lead to the ocean or whatever.
It might take years.
It might take
Don't
years.
have scientific causal evidence, but
She's more cautious than I am.
yeah,
about these things.
I just want to say it's been identified as a potential contamination threat. And
It's a threat.
I have that.
But if everybody's doing that, and what else are they gonna do? You know, I try to take my oil to the oil change shops. I try to take my bulbs to the, whoever takes them. I try to take all my stuff where it's supposed to go, but I'm not great at it.
Yeah.
You
There
know,
are waste haulers, we want to get their support because they're experiencing fires in their truck due to the lithium batteries, which will be collected at this facility. So
yeah, or what, oh, it's Andy Kornstrom, isn't he, who did the demonstration with the batteries that
Yeah.
caught fire? I actually, one of my friends had her husband's cell phone caught fire and it's not funny, in his pants, and he had a serious injury, actually. Well, but that's a whole different subject. But I mean, these things have to go somewhere. And every one of us is affected by the aquifer, so we're just asking each community to do their part.
How did you get to the $20,000 figure?
it was just based on relative population and our need.
So it's a per capita charge, and you figured out
Roughly,
each village.
right, like Tolono contributed 20,000, roughly similar size. St. Joe, Muhammad
If
contributed.
we don't contribute to St. Joe, do we have to contribute for St. Joe residents to use this facility.
No,
No,
this is not even a requirement, it's just
No.
requesting, your support.
I don't know if it's like a membership or.
no,
So once it's open to the public.
Right, and we won't depend on you for operational support, we would.
we're just gonna look at you nasty when you come. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, people could drive from Chicago down here. No, we're not even gonna know. We don't care. It's open to anyone. People could drive from St. Louis and use it. It's not
Not St. Louis, East St. Louis.
East St. Louis. Oh, that's right. That's it. People can drive from anywhere and use it. We don't care. We just want people to do the right thing.
Thank you very much for listening, and if you have questions, I have more of these brochures, if you want another brochure, we're in the process of
Does
updating.
anybody have any other?
What do we do now?
Except no annual, event that once a year we participate in.
It's coming up on August 9th, which is.
You have to make it one.
Is it your organization?
This is City of Champaign.
Champaign County, City of Champaign, City of Urbana, and Village of Savona, they organize it. The Illinois EPA provides the hazardous waste contractor. So it's supported by the Illinois EPA.
But there's gonna be no charge to drop stuff off. Like I said, anybody can come.
Right.
It's just gonna be there for everybody's use. We just want a little help getting it built. That's all.
We wanted to come here tonight to share the information and, you decide when you wanna make a decision, right? Joe?
And honestly, we're happy for anything you can do. That's what we're saying to every place we visit. We're just happy for anything you can give us, because we just need help getting it built. That's all.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very
We
much.
really won't look at you, honey. I promise. We won't even know you're. Although my kids went to Unity, so.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good night, you safe.
Thank
Uh,
you.
That's the end of the new business, old business, second review of centralized fee schedule policy.
It's a working document and, they're small. I can't. They do, I can make it size 2 font next time. But
Right.
But no, this is a working document and you'll kind of see if you get your glasses out and look real close that what I'm getting to is there's some areas that we could definitely address. So I'm going to keep working. The next area I got to really add to is the sports fees directly. Those are really tough to track down actually, but I'll have more information on those at a later time. But if you have any questions, let me know, but this is definitely not ready for approval tonight.
Could you, go ahead, can you email us to the,
Yeah, it's
is there a way we could get it so we can look at it
yeah,
in an expanded? version?
bigger. Either way, I can send it so you can look at it at
We'll just.
your convenience, yeah.
I commend you for trying to save ink, but let's build it, make it a little bit.
The highlights are the ones you want to do right now.
My biggest focus, yeah. Yeah,
All right, village administrator updates.
I don't know anything bad.
We do have a pending zoning application. Public hearing for August 21st
Yes,
and August 26th.
Oh,
That's on there.
the 26th is your meeting. And the 21st is planning is
Planning and zoning, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a different.
So there's more coming.
Yes, there's more coming. It's gonna be actually, it's gonna be a busy couple of months for planning and zoning, lots of on the horizon.
And that's a good thing. Mark, do you have anything?
I do not.
Mark, Mike? Mark, I look at Mark and said Mike. Nothing.
Speaking for Mike, he has nothing to report.
How's everybody doing on their state mandatory training?
I gotta turn it in. I got my stuff, Joe. I was thinking.
Have you done it?
I think I did mine. Joe, I got all of it.
You're in the folder.
Okay,
Yeah, that's fine.
yeah, are we all good then?
I have one left to
You
do.
have one left to do?
And that document that was filled out there, gave to you,
No, it's.
No, it's an online training.
I'll resend the email.
okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna press.
Okay, just want to make sure.
I mean,
Well, there's, and then there's also the parade that the mayor's excited to organize everybody for the parade here.
I will be reaching out to each one of you individually, of course, to discuss the parade that's upcoming, and there is a Samoa meeting
Thursday.
Thursday. Do you guys get those notices? Have you-
No, it all comes through you.
It all comes through me.
It doesn't come
Okay.
through.
Then, because I thought Debbie sent those out.
No,
No, okay. Then I-
Which Thursday is it?
This
24th is Thursday.
day after tomorrow. Up in,
The reminder went out a couple,
What's the Rachel?
the reminder went out a couple of weeks ago, but then they just sent the final.
like yesterday.
But yeah, it's really.
It was really last minute, so I apologize, I didn't know that I was the one doing it, I will.
I can just forward the email, but I guess just bringing it up here just so it's on everybody's. mind.
Yeah. It's the, what's that, Samoa Stanford
Central Illinois
Municipal Officers Association.
Where's it gonna be? It ran to a lot of
Probably at the.
sports complex or?
No,
So it's a meeting where all the villages get together and it's at one location, they rotate locations. We've done it here before. And you may have a keynote speaker about something, and you get to meet and talk with other board members of different municipalities and, you know, just kind of network, if you will.
It also has an opportunity to showcase your community, like Arcola, we went out to the wildlife preserve, we've had a couple here, where, you know, tried to help local businesses, get a little exposure, so.
There'll be more in the future.
Rose Cage catered ours last time here.
Awesome. How are these? Monthly or?
Well, they try to do them quarterly, but sometimes they can only do them.
it's at the Hollywood of the Midwest Flyover Studios at One Aviation Drive. Up in Rantoul, you know that,
So
they're
back
setting
in
up that
the-
movie
back
set.
in the-
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's where
the
it's at.
base area. the old
It's
base
at
area.
$20 per person. Starts at 7. So,
The village usually pays for you when you go and you're 1+1. What's been done in the past, I don't know.
if you want to go, let me know, like right away.
I think there's usually a reception that starts at 6.
6.
And then the program starts at 7.
Right. So I would make sure folks get those notices earlier. This one was kind of late. That's all I have. Is there anything from any members of the board? I think that's it.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
There's no exceptions, and you're not. Thank you.